Great, the first slide worked. We're off to a good start. My name's Adam Martin. I'll be the MC for the event this evening. As Chris said in the opening video there, this truly is a moment for you all to enjoy. It's a movement across not only the country but the world. This last month alone, over 4,000 TEDx events took place throughout the entire world. Today, there's 17 TEDx events going around the world. Bolivia, the Russian Federation, there's some in Mexico. All over the United States and the world, these types of things are taking place. So we're really excited to have you here. I would ask that before we start that you silence your cell phones. I'm sure you guys have already taken the liberty of doing that. If you haven't, go take a moment to do that, please. Make sure that you give the speakers feedback. They're going to enjoy if you have laughter and smiles and clapping. This is a community here sharing ideas. There will be an intermission if you saw the program halfway through. You all have name tags. We'd love you to have conversations about the speeches that you hear and exchange ideas based on what you've heard throughout the night. So without further ado, our first speaker is, his name is Tony Knapp. Tony Knapp is a motivational speaker that speaks to Fortune 500 companies all over the United States. He helps major universities, and we're really excited to have him here to get things kick-started. So,
great.
Tony.
Thank you. Thank you very much. What a pleasure to be here with you. And Adam, thank you for organizing everything. This is not easy to do this kind of thing. And I did hear some of my fellow speakers talking outside, and I want you to know that I don't have a problem with the 23 emails that you sent me over the last week. It really was not an issue. My inbox, well, never mind. It's a long story. It's my first TEDx event, and it's, as I said, it's great to be with you. You know, you hear people say and you hear people talk about you can do anything. You can become anything you want to become. You can accomplish anything you want to accomplish. Well, literally, I'm not so sure. I mean, there are things that keep us, perhaps, from doing some of the things that we want to do. As an example, can we dunk a basketball like Michael Jordan? Right, probably no one in here can. And it's not even maybe possible that we can conceive that. What does that feel like, being above the basket and coming down like that onto the, who knows? I mean, unless we've done it, we don't know that. There is a theory that whatever you can conceive, whatever you can imagine and see yourself doing, that you can accomplish. And I can go with that. I can understand that. Because if you can't conceive it, you would never be able to achieve it. If you see yourself doing it, you know the parameters of what your capabilities are, both physically and mentally. Now, this is a physical capability. This doesn't mean that we wouldn't know how to dunk a basketball. It just means that physically we don't have those capabilities. He was, needless to say, nothing short of a wizard. But everyone needs someone. Arguably the greatest basketball player in history, and we can argue that, and you can say Kobe, and that's fine, whatever, but arguably the best ever. But when he first became pro, for the first 6, 7 years, he didn't win many games. As a matter of fact, he would score 30, 40, 50 points a night, and they'd lose by 20. Well, that is not how you make a legacy, and he understood that. And then entered Phil Jackson. Everyone needs someone. What do they call him? The Zen Master? Is that what they called him? He knew how to take that incredible talent, that incredible ability that no one else on the planet had, and funneled that into success, where he could turn all of those 60-point nights into 20-point nights with a victory. And think of the people that he taught around him to be better. 6 championships he and Phil Jackson won together. John Paxton, I mean, some of you in this room know him, but most people don't. He was a nice basketball player from Notre Dame, not a superstar, but he was a pro. I mean, they're all pros, they're all great. He made one of the final baskets on their run to one of those 6 championships. He went on to another team, he didn't even start. How about Steve Kerr? Steve Kerr from the University of Arizona. Some of you may know him in this room. He was not an exceptional basketball player. He was a pro, so you know he was exceptional, but he wasn't Michael Jordan level. He scored the winning basket in one of those 6 championships. He made everyone around him better. Everyone was better because of him. So he had someone who taught him how to do that, someone who showed him how to do that. But that's not always enough. It's not always enough to have just physical ability. You have to defeat the mental barrier. In my business, in my my speaking, as Adam said, all over the place, around the world. I've been through Australia, UK, South Africa, all of those countries. The one thing that we have to know is that change never takes place until you say, okay, I'm ready to change. It just doesn't. We can force you, we can beat you, we can holler at you, but that's not what it was. Change takes place when you're ready to have that happen. That's when true change takes place. So you have to defeat the mental barrier. This picture was taken May 6th, 1954. That's the actual picture. Obviously, it's been colorized. That 3:59.4, that was the breaking of the 4-minute mile, which they said couldn't be done. Doctors said if you do it, your heart will explode. It's impossible. That's what they said. It's like breaking the sound barrier. You know, when they broke the sound barrier, they thought that Chuck Yeager, who broke the sound barrier, was going to go into a third dimension. And no one would actually know where he was, and they wouldn't be able to find him. And, of course, the Air Force didn't want to lose the plane. So here's Roger Bannister, and you can tell he was straining, he was in pain, he was in agony, but he did it. And how did he do it? Everyone has someone. He trained only 45 minutes a day. For runners, world-class runners, how is that possible to train 45 minutes a day? It's what he did. He believed that if you trained more than Roger Bannister did, believed that when you trained more than 45 minutes a day, you were taking away from your race speed and your race capabilities. Well, today, national class and world class runners won 80, 70, 80, 90, 100 miles a week. Not him. He was just 45 minutes a day. But he couldn't get over the barrier. Couldn't do it. Couldn't make it happen. Enter Bert Thomas. Who knew who Bert Thomas was? Well, he had coached someone who won a 1,500-meter Olympic event. I don't know, maybe the Olympics before, maybe two before. I don't know which one. But so he had some credibility. But he did this crazy thing. He brought Bannister to the track, and he would stand in the middle of the track with a stopwatch. And he would make Roger Bannister run 200 meters, timing him, and then walk 200 meters. And then run 400, timing him, and then walk 400. And then 800 meters, timing him, and walk. And 1,500 meters, timing him and walk. And Bannister, when he did it, he would scream out, "What's my time? What's my time?" He said, "Shut up about the time and run." He said, "It's not about your time. It's about being ready to run." So, on May 6th, there it was. He finally did it. Well, guess what? 2 weeks later, John Landry from Australia broke his record. And 45 days later, he and John Landry had a race that is still today called the Miracle Mile, in which both of them broke the record. And in the year after this date, 30 people broke the record. 30. And they say that today, by today, I think 20,000 people have broken the 4-minute barrier in a competitive race. 30 people, and they had tried for years. How does this happen? How is that even possible? You have to break the mental barrier. You have to go through that barrier. Being physically able is not enough. It's twofold. You have to do both. But sometimes when you're physically able and you're mentally capable and you can break that mental barrier, those two things aren't enough either. Everyone needs someone. The fellow on the right is Charlie Plum. Anybody know him? Anybody know that name? Nobody ever does. Charlie Plum. You'll remember that name after tonight. Charlie Plum is his name. Charlie Plum was born in Gary, Indiana, and was a brilliant student, and did so well that he received an appointment to the Naval Academy in Annapolis, Maryland. And he was fantastic there. Had this unique capability of being able to fly a plane. Someone throw something? Look, I've only got 20 minutes, so I'll be done in 5-6 minutes. And you don't have to shoot. It's okay. You gotta watch this. Adam, they're all over me. Anyway, Charlie Plum went to the Naval Academy and was a fantastic student. Really did a great job and had this unusual ability to fly a plane. Just really great flyer. Excuse me. And because of that, when he graduated in 1964, he was one of the finest pilots in all of America. And they said, well, we want him flying the best planes. That's an A4 Skyhawk that they're setting on. And they said, Charlie, we want you to put together a team, and we want that team to do something very special. That is his team. They're called the Aardvarks. At that time, they were the finest team of pilots in all the world. Today, I think it's called, I think the finest group is the Chessmen. This was the Aardvarks. So they went to Miramar, to a thing called Navy Weapons Fighter Training School. It had never been done before, so Charlie Plum headed that up. That's right, Miramar. He was the first Top Gun. But they didn't call it Top Gun. They call it Navy Fighter Weapons School, which they still do. But now we refer to it as Top Gun. The year after it was so successful, they named it Top Gun. Well, upon their graduation in '64, they sent them to Vietnam. That was the height of the war. They actually went to the USS Kitty Hawk, the big carrier. And Charlie and the Aardvarks did fantastic. They were unbelievable. 74 straight missions Charlie flew. 74. And during that 74, he got 8 awards or 8 medals. A hero and heroism and bravery and just all sorts of medals they gave him on those 74 consecutive flights. And on the 75th flight, his plane was hit. And he parachuted out of the plane just south of Hanoi and was captured. And beaten and tortured and put in an 8x8 cell. I don't know how big this is, but this may be about 8x8 for 2,130 days. Unbelievable. Charlie Plum. He was the best, the first of the best. So, when the war ended, he was repatriated. I think they repatriated him in 1974. And when that, I think you have to go through a big process to get back. You have to, especially after you've been in captivity for so long and all the medical issues and especially all the things that he had to unfortunately go through. And when he got out and come back to America, he moved to Kansas, which is where his wife was. They had moved there right before he went to Vietnam. And he and his wife, this is years later, he and his wife were in a restaurant one night and they're eating. And they're just sitting around talking. And all of a sudden some guy comes up and says, "You're Plum. You're Charlie Plum." And he says, "Yeah." And he said, "You were on the Kitty Hawk." I said, "Yeah." He said, "You're the Aardvarks." I said, "Yeah." He said, "You flew 74 straight missions. And on your 75th, you got hit. You went down, you were captured, and you were in there for 2,130 days. He said, "How on earth do you know this?" He said, "I packed your parachute." And I guess it worked. Who packs your parachute? Who's going to pack yours? You see, each one of us have these capabilities of things we can do, both mentally and physically. And whether we can dunk like Michael Jordan or break the 4-minute mile is not important. It's only important that we do what we're capable of doing. Now tonight, there's going to be people following me, teachers, mentors, coaches, and they're going to give you the skills, tools, information, and knowledge to make yourself better. They're going to pack your parachute for you tonight. You can do anything you want to do, but everyone needs someone. Thank you.